Hey y'all, Joefer here, the Cranky Old Gay Guy. As you can see, I am in my car, and it is a downpour out there. Absolute downpour. It's been like this since around 8 o'clock this morning. This is actually the light part of the rain. It was much, much heavier a little earlier and around 8 o'clock. So, and I'm headed off to a grocery store. Why? Because I never get groceries. I just stop in and get 5 items. But today I actually made a list that I'm going out to the burbs to a Winco to save some money and get more groceries. Pay $3 there for something that would cost me $5 or $6 at a regular grocery store. Okay, you're gonna hear the wipers because I have to have them on. The squeak, I did clean them. The wipers are good. The windshield is somewhat clear, at least on the outside. The inside should probably be washed. So here's my dilemma. Summer, I'm not ready to let it go. But obviously, this is a fall, winter rain. It's not freezing yet, so I would say fall. Even though fall I don't think starts until the 20th or the 21st, it sure feels like it. And it also feels like Halloween in that this is the weather that we often have during Halloween. So people walking on the street in costume are getting soaked or just not going out at all. And where are we going? We're going to go this way. And then we're going to cut through a neighborhood. I just don't feel like a lot of traffic today. So we'll take the slow route. I'm not in a super rush, unlike I am usually. But I'm doing this so I didn't get my nerves all frayed, you know. And I have a question for all you gents out there. How many of you use some kind of a skin cream to get rid of age spots or to tighten up your skin? Nobody? Really? Boy, almost all the gay men I know use that kind of stuff. I personally don't, because I don't want to spend $85 on a little 2-ounce tube of something. However, on Facebook Reels this morning, this rather animated gentleman in his, I would say, late 40s, early 50s, was parked outside of a Dollar Tree store and was saying, at Dollar Tree you can get this, which is a little bulb of retinol, a package, and then little gold-colored bulbs of hyaluronic acid. And when I say bulbs, I mean little pearl-shaped things with a little twist knob, and it's just enough for like a dab on the tip of your finger. So for $1.25 you can get each of these, so that's $2.50. And then he follows it up with after you do one in the morning, the retinol, and then in the afternoon you do the hyaluronic acid, or evening, and then you put shea butter over the hyaluronic acid after it's got in there, and that moisturizes your skin, and supposedly it pulls all the crepe out of your skin. If I find a Dollar Tree today, all of them around here seem to be closed, like out of business. I know there's one left, I think, out on Hayden Island or Delta Park, but I am in the wrong part of town for that. All the rest of them in my area have been shut down, and that's 3 that all just disappeared. Yeah, I went to one the other day to get a cheap greeting card, and the entire store was empty, and that was a huge one. I mean, it was an old Woolworth store, so it was a big Dollar Tree, and it had been there for years. But they're gone too. Anyway, back to this potion lotion kind of thing. If I find a Dollar Tree that has those items, I will give it a try. But if any of you out there are looking young and pretty at an advanced age, let me know how you're doing it and what kind of serum you're using, and if that serum is one of those lady serums that is outrageously expensive, or the serums designed for men that are just as outrageously expensive, or if you found a inexpensive way to handle your skin and tighten it up a bit. I would like to get rid of this spot. It's an old acne scar from a teen, and maybe tighten up these things because, I got luggage under my eyes. Here we go. Back through another quieter neighborhood. Quiet in that it's only 25 to 30 miles an hour as opposed to 35 miles an hour areas that people go 50. I hope all the rain's not too annoying. Well, then again, that's why I'm cranky, is because of all this rain. Again, I'm not ready for winter or fall. I don't want it to be here. I want it just to go away forever. I want warm weather year round, but I don't want to move to California and spend more on living expenses than I would be spending here, which is what would happen. If anyone in Palm Springs would like to live in Portland for the winter and let me have their place for the winter, I'm up for that, so just let me know, okay? I do have a small dog, let you know up front. She's very house trained. She doesn't screw up the furniture or go to the bathroom in the house or anything. And I am an avid dog walker. She gets at least twice a day, and she goes out to poo whenever she wants to. So there's that. So she would not be a burden on your house or condo. But yeah, if you're up for a little exchange, let me know. I do have a housemate, and he's a good-looking guy, so you know that's a plus too. He's younger, in his 30s, so you got that going for you. Anyway, let me know, and let me know how you feel about this horrid weather I'm having, because you know it's all about me, right? Right. Someone wrote in and asked, how can you drive and talk to a video, to your camera at the same time? Well, I have a video camera mount or a phone mount hanging from my rearview mirror. I tried to do one on the dash, but the angle is like looking at my nose, and I didn't care for that. And I tried to do it on the visor, but then it's looking down, which gives me a total double chin all the time. And I didn't want that either, so this is what I've settled on. How can I do it? Well, I wouldn't exactly say multitasking, because I'm still concentrating on the road and my driving. And today it's like, I also have to defend with this nasty, nasty weather, which is another thing upon itself. And something you might not understand is that this isn't just bad weather. This is emotionally bad weather. Because when it gets dark and dreary, and it's really kind of gray overcast today, that depresses the hell out of me. Not putting me into a depression that needs medication, but my mood, I mean, right now I have high energy, and I will probably till 1 o'clock, and then it'll crash. And, I'll be tired the rest of the day. Ooh, boy, do you hear that? Ooh. According to Les Schwab Tires, that is just brake dust. So let it squeak out a first few stops, and then you'll be fine. I find that I think it's rust, because whenever there's a temperature change and there's moisture in the air, the first few times I brake, it does that. Even in the summer, if there's a 10, 15 degree temperature change and it goes down, I get that squeakiness. And during the rain, it'll squeak and then it won't squeak, and then I'll park for an hour and it'll squeak again. And yeah, it does sound horrible. And I have had it checked by a mechanic and by the tire shop, and they tell me there's nothing wrong. So maybe it's just a flaw in the way that the hubs were formed with Toyota when this car was built, or maybe it's the way that the shoes hit it. I believe I have brake shoes in the back, and then I have disc brakes in the front. What were we getting at? Oh yeah, we were talking about depression, or I was talking about depression, and how this kind of weather is a real downer for me. When I have high energy, I like to get outside. I like to do things. That doesn't mean sitting in front of the computer doing editing or researching, because that puts me to sleep as well. And I don't think that's just because of the screen. I think it's just the way your body sits and the way your mind focuses on something. I know that sitting in a cubicle when I worked in an office was just as bad. After 5 to 10 minutes in a cubicle, working with a computer, you just want to fall asleep. It's like a hypno trance, very hypnotic. I would say trance is a good word. Looking around the office where I worked, There were a lot of people in trances, and none of them were happy trances. None at all. One last thing. Again, this is from Facebook. Reels. This dude was really hyping sage tea and how it clears his mind and gives him focus, and as he drinks it, he becomes one with the universe, and blah, 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 blah. And all he does is take 2 sage leaves, fresh sage leaves, puts them in hot water, and lets it sit for 5 minutes, and then he sips it for 20 minutes. And, you know, I don't want to knock him. He's some kind of a fitness guru online. And he's probably close to 50. He's got a lot of white hair on his head and his beard. A little bit of dark, but he's really built and ripped like a personal trainer who exercises. I see a lot of trainers at the gym. It's like, why would I take any kind of training from you when you look the way you do? I mean, if they look worse than me, why would I want to train with them, physical wise? Because, I mean, I don't want to look like that. I'm trying to slim down and get muscly, not blowed up like some of these trainers look. Anyway, that's not this guy's issue or problem. Again, he's very physically fit. But the way he put this was this 20-minute drinking his sage water or sage tea, which looks really, really, really weak. And then he mentions all the chemicals that are in the sage leaves that come out in the water and make you feel this way. But just sipping for 20 minutes and sitting outside and watching nature, that's more of a meditation. So I don't know how much the sage tea actually has to do with it. I haven't looked up the chemical components of sage tea and how they affect the body, but this guy swears by them. And of course he wants you to subscribe to his reels and then go to his channel and subscribe to that, where eventually he'll try to sell you some kind of a fitness program. And that's the nature of the internet. Now, I promise, at least for the foreseeable future, I will not be trying to sell any of you a training guide, because I don't know, what would I be teaching? That's a lot of those reels too, is talking about, oh, you have skills nobody knows about. Turn them into a training course and make big money around the clock with no effort. Well, what would I be good at training people with that I could turn into a digital course? Like I said, making promises there'll be no course in the foreseeable future. But foreseeable could be tomorrow. Foreseeable could be a year from now. Who knows? Look at that. I'm driving without hands. Whoops, that's going to get me busted. Well, that's about all I have to say. I am in the where am I? There's no road signs. I think I'm about 130, 128, 28th Street, 128. I'm not. I'm on 109th. Wow, I'm not nearly as far as I thought I was. But the rain is to the point where I am having trouble seeing anything. We can up the wipers a bit, like that. Oh, that's even more annoying. Okay. I am now at 112. See what depths I will go to driving all the way out to the burbs just to buy groceries, because the stores in my area are way overpriced, much like stores in all urban areas. They charge more because they just do. I know there are some neighborhoods that have food deserts where there's no groceries or markets within 10 miles, and they end up having to shop at a bodega or a 7-Eleven where everything is overpriced, except junk food. That's always available. And that's why there's poor nutrition in a lot of those areas. Well, I am just the opposite. I am surrounded by natural grocery stores and organic this, organic that, and health food. But it's 10 times the cost of a regular market. Even Fred Meyer, which is a Kroger store, used to be affordable. And then they remodeled their store and they went gourmet and they put in, these big islands with people making sushi. And they had like this display thing that had 47 different kinds of designer salt, which was $12 or $13 a pound. And that lasted for about 6 months, and then they got rid of most of that and remodeled again because people came in, and they also had a fish market with raw fish everywhere. And it all looked really upscale and trendy, but the neighborhood only supported it for a short while and then came to their senses and said, this stuff's too expensive. And this is before New Seasons or Whole Foods ever came into the neighborhood. So I'm guessing the late 90s, early 2000s? Probably early 2000s, because in the 90s it was just a Fred Meyer store, which is now owned by Kroger. So yeah, that's my plans today. I might hit the Eagle this afternoon for their barbecue beer bash thing where they give you free hot dogs and burgers and you socialize. And since I didn't get to play pool much on Thursday, I only got 2 shots in. And that was it. I might go there and then play pool this afternoon. But it all depends. Depends on how I feel after my energy drop. Whew. And this weather is like so effing depressing. We can get into depression in gay men, well, men in general, and women, in another video. I won't get into it now, but it is so prevalent in our society, and a lot of it is caused by your environment. In the 90s, I was in a high-rise with cubes, and on days like today, where you have to get up and go to work in the dark and ride a bus, and then come home and it's already like this or getting darker, and it's raining and cold, and you're on a bus with all of these people that don't want to be on a bus, it can be overwhelming. Not to mention everything that happens in the company that you're working for. Ugh. Fluorescent lights, Okay, I gotta let you go because we are almost to Winco. I'm on 122nd, driving like a snail because the cars ahead of me are super slow. And I'm about a mile from the actual store. So I will see you all next time. Enjoy your Sunday afternoon, and I'll be seeing you. Bye-bye.